What's up, everybody? Dustin from MyFreedomSmokes here to talk to you about this new device, the Sigelei 150 watt temperature control box mod. Thing's a monster. I really like it. You just saw me using the 13 Heavens 9 Hells RDA, 8 wraps 22 gauge at, I think I have it at 80 watts. So it's a 0.2 ohm coil, 80 watts, firing at about 4 volts right there, about 60% battery, which doesn't matter, it's regulated. As you can see, this thing can chuck clouds. That's only 80 watts with a 0.2 build, and it's chucking. It really is chucking. It's fogging this place up. Thing's a monster. It has dual 18650 batteries. Here I have some Samsung 22Rs or 20Rs. I don't know why I said 22. This thing's pretty awesome. One of the things I really like about this box, as you see me struggle, is the battery door. Big improvement on all the Sigeli devices. Most of the time you get a box mod, you got some magnets on there, and this thing takes a bump, takes a fall, or anything like that, any kind of like contact with a table or whatever. First thing that happens, battery door flies off, batteries everywhere. Not gonna happen anymore, because with this battery door, not only do you have the magnets, but you have these little, I guess I would call them notches or something like that, that stick in here and also help keep the box mod on. Right now my little ribbon is keeping me from closing it. There you go. Operator error. Thing chucks cloud. It does go up to 150 watts. Very reminiscent of the old Sigeli 100 watt screens. Hopefully you can see that with the protective label on. But it has your wattage, voltage, battery percentage with a little battery meter for a visual, and it tells you your resistance. The difference is there's no longer the 5-click on, 5-click off. Well, technically it is there, but 5 clicks brings you up to menus. And then you use the power button or the firing button, whatever you want to call it, to cycle through the menus, and you use the positive and negative, plus and minus, whatever you want to call them, to select your options. For example, if you wanted to turn it off, you double click that 5 times and it pops up and it says system on. You hit left or right or positive or negative, and it will turn the device off. When it's off and you do click the 5 times, it does just turn on like normal, doesn't go into a menu. To switch back and forth between temperature control and wattage, it's the same feature. You go into here and it will say mode, power, or going back to freshman high school physical science, you got joules. When's the last time you thought you would use joules? It's back to vaping, it's gonna save your life. Throw it in here, put it in joules mode, bam. Click that firing button, then you select Fahrenheit, Celsius, whether or not you're USA, or you're one of our Euro friends that uses the metric system. Then you can set your temperature, whatever the device is. I like 400 degrees. That's a comfortable heat for me. Not too hot, not too cold. Cotton's not burning, no dry hits. Exit out of the menu. Like I said, Fahrenheit, Celsius. I'm going to be using Fahrenheit because I'm a good old boy from North Carolina. But we're going to switch this thing to temperature control mode, which is now in joules. I'm going to give you a little demonstration. So, okay, now we're back. All right, so on here I have my Sub-Tank Nano. It does have a nickel coil. Make sure you're using nickel coil, titanium coils, or whatever you're using for temperature control. Make sure it's temperature control wire. I can't stress enough. Please don't use Kanthal in this, people. And do not use the default Sub-Tank coils. Use nickel. We sell them. Kanger sells them. They're Kanger made. Use the Kanger nickel coils if you're going to use temperature control. Please pay attention. All right, so now that we've got this thing with a temperature control RDA on here, let's change it from power mode. Let's put it in joules. Let's set it to Fahrenheit because I am a good old North Carolina beau. It is 400 degrees Fahrenheit, a nice cool vape for me, not too hot, not too cold. The cotton's not going to burn. Let's see what that is for Celsius. Put that in Celsius. 204 degrees for our Euro friends, or metric friends. So put it back in Fahrenheit. Okay, bam. 400 degrees, bam. Exit. Okay. Got to note that as soon as you throw your RDA on, you put this thing in joules or temperature control mode, and when you put it on here, don't just assume that it's ready to go. You press the positive and negative at the same time, and it's going to say set resistance. This coil is 0.248. It will differentiate between, your e-liquid is conductive, so depending on how much e-liquid's on your coil, just the way your coil is set in there, it might vary. I like to change mine after a while because, you know, as metal heats and cools, it expands, moves, changes, whatever. So it will vary. You know, you might have a 0.2 coil and then all of a sudden it's reading as a 0.21 or a 0.22, something like that. Make sure that it's set for that because it is set for one resistance and only that resistance. And the way you set that is you press the positive and negative at the same time, and now it says 0.246. It is set. So now every time I fire this coil will not get hotter than 400 degrees because that's what I have the temperature set to. So when I'm firing it, bam, 0.26, 0.33, 0.35, 0.35, it is firing. And the voltage will differentiate, fluctuate up and down to keep the coil at a solid 400 degrees. I might be wrong, but I think off the top of my head that cotton combusts at 410 degrees. So as long as you keep it below 410 degrees, you can never burn your cotton. The worst thing that can happen is, you know, the VG gunk, the PG gunk that gunks up on a coil from extended use. That's why you're going to have to change your coils. No longer you're going to have to change your coils from burning up the cotton and getting that disgusting flavor. Not bad from a little baby coil in this little baby tank, is it? Another thing to note is the box. It's no longer that, you know, I assume the old boxes were aluminum or steel, most likely not tin or anything like that. But no longer is it like that. It's a weird coating on here. It's very, very satisfying. I'm not sure what the coating is, but it's very smooth. It's very nice, matte black, very comfortable to hold. It's not cold. I've fired this thing all day. It doesn't get too hot. I think that the matte coating doesn't let the heat conduct into the metal to give you an uncomfortable feeling in your hands. Literally the only con I can have about this thing is also that matte coating, which is definitely a big pro. If some of your VG leaks when you're dripping or something like that, or you got sticky hands, when it gets on here, man, there's nothing worse than the feeling of having sticky hands. So if your hands are sticky and you start touching that, it is a little uncomfortable. You find yourself wiping this on your shirt, towel, pants, whatever. That's the only negative, man, and that is awesome. That is the only negative I have about this thing. Battery life, ridiculous. You know, I've been using it all day, testing this thing all day since the moment I came in today, and I'm only at 60% battery. So that's, you know, this thing's gonna last you a day or 2 days in between charges. So you have nothing to worry about. This is a great device. With that being said, this is Dustin from MyFreedomSmokes. Have any questions, comments about this thing? You want to get hype about it, talk to us about it, shoot us an email, give us a phone call, leave a comment below.